What's up guys, and welcome to another video. If you're new here, my name's Matt and today we'll be unboxing the Hohem iSteady MT2. This unique gimbal has some cool and unique features that I just love. Well, looks like that side is already open. The first thing we see here is this case. Previously on my channel, I've unboxed the DJI RS3 Mini, and if you haven't checked that out yet, go click on the link down in the description. But what's dope about this one is that this comes with this nice case that could fit everything that you would need. It's got some nice padding on the outside, and it has several compartments for all your stuff. Right here we see the tripod stand that you attach to the gimbal. It's got a nice small and compact size to it. And in the middle we got a bag with a GoPro adapter and an extra screw. And we also got another plate for the camera. Plus in this last packet we got the phone adapter. Alright, in this main zipper pocket we got some cables and the manual. Okay guys, so they give you probably all the cables that you would ever need. So let's go through them all. This one is the USB-A to USB-C cable. Bear with me here, there's a lot of cables here, so you can skip this if you want. Check out the time codes down below. Here we got a USB-C to TRS 2.5mm jack, a USB-C to USB-C for Android charging, a USB-C to Mini B, a USB-C to micro USB, a USB-C to TRRS cable, a USB-C to TRS 3.5mm jack, and finally we got the USB-C to the multi-camera control cable. And with all of that out of the way, let's get to the gimbal. I bought this entire kit for $329 from Amazon. I ended up purchasing this and returning my DJI RS3 Mini because of one feature and one feature only. What even makes it such a cool deal is that it's cheaper too. The RS3 Mini goes for $365, so you save a good amount of money when you purchase this instead. You get this awesome padded carrying case and a bunch of cables. Anyways, what we were just looking at was part of the gimbal. This is the part where you can turn the camera vertical or horizontal. Much more on that in a bit. What's awesome about this case too is that it's got some velcro to keep everything in its spot. Okay, so first impressions, this thing is pretty light. I'm trying to compare it to the RS3 Mini and I think it's a bit lighter. The max weight recommendation for the RS3 Mini is about 4.4 pounds, while this is about 2.65 pounds. With this you won't be able to fit as much as you might want, but I think I managed to fit a good amount for what it's capable of. Continue watching to see what I can put on this thing. To get started, add on the tripod. The first thing we'll be setting up is the phone, so grab the phone mount and let's get this started. All you gotta do is pull this a little bit and make sure you don't block the camera. And now this feels nice and secured. There was a bit of a squeakiness when I pulled it, but it's nothing to worry about. The material feels strong. Oh yeah, that's not going anywhere. First we'll be setting this up in the horizontal orientation, so grab the mount and attach it accordingly. Let's zoom in and see what this looks like. First things first, you gotta make sure that the lever for the locking system is unlocked, and then align the phone adapter to the mounting bracket. You'll notice a slight click when you reach a certain point. So this lever right here is where you lock it, so make sure it's locked so it doesn't move from its position. Just take a look at how much this jiggles. We'll be adjusting this later to balance it correctly. And just like that, now it's locked in its spot. Now we gotta slide this whole thing inside here. So take this bracket with everything on it, make sure it's horizontal, and then slide it in. It took me a few tries to get this right, but I eventually got it. Oh, and just like before, make sure the lever for the locking system is unlocked too. This should easily glide right on in. And here's that locking lever again. Once this is done, now you can balance it. But first, let me show you how to mount this vertically. To take the mount off, just unlock the lever and then push this button so it could come off completely. So now in order to mount it vertically, just flip it and then slide it right on in again. And it's as easy as that. There's nothing else to it. And as always, make sure everything's locked before you can move on. And with all that being said, let's get to the balancing. Step 1. Tilt axis balancing. You gotta make sure that the gravity screw is unlocked, and then you face the camera upwards and try to balance it. This is easy enough. So each motor has a lock, so make sure it's unlocked before you can get started. This will unlock the tilting axis, so make sure the camera doesn't bump into anything. And if we face the camera upwards, you might be lucky and it's already balanced, but if it's not, you gotta loosen this gravity screw. Once it's loosened, you can move this part back and forth and try to balance it. This part will take some time, but once you get it done, you won't have to do this again, unless you're changing cameras or maybe a GoPro or something. Then you're gonna have to change it. Here's a solid tip for you guys. Make sure to take pictures of all the measuring points so that you know what to change back when you change cameras. Trust me, this will save you so much time in the long run. Alright guys, I think I finally got it balanced. Once you got it balanced, make sure you tighten that gravity screw. So for me right here, I got to a little problem. This little camera right here is blocking the way. Oh yeah, I don't think I mentioned that one special thing for why I wanted this gimbal instead of the RS3 Mini. And this little camera right here is that thing. Now we gotta do the horizontal balancing of the tilt axis. After unlocking the lever, just move the camera back and forth until it's properly balanced. Again, be patient with this and you'll be able to get it in no time. And here's that reminder to lock the lever. And now let's balance the roll axis. And just like before, you want to unlock the axis. You'll find this one right above the control panel. Make sure to hold your camera so it doesn't bump into anything. Now we get to loosen the screw and then get to balancing. Alright, so right away, this wants to go all the way to the left. So that means we gotta counterbalance it and move it to the right. And then finally, you probably guessed it, tighten that screw. And finally, let's balance the pan axis. You'll find this lock on the opposite side of the display. And you'll find a gravity screw right beside it. Loosen the screw and get to balancing. For this to work, you gotta make sure that the gimbal is tilted and that the camera remains in any position that you want to keep it at. So if you look right here, whatever position that I keep the gimbal tilted at, the camera remains in that spot. This is what you want to see. To turn on the gimbal, press the power button for 2 seconds. And to cycle through the modes, just click the mode button. You got pan follow, pan and tilt follow, all lock, and all follow, which is the POV. Hit this button 5 times for auto calibration. Press it 3 times to go into ICP Inception mode. This is a 360-degree infinite spin shot. This is a fun little mode if you want to get a little fancy with it. You can also work it in sport mode, which allows you to follow fast-paced objects by holding down the trigger, which is the exact same button that you press if you want to stop this ICP mode. You can also double-click that trigger to recenter the gimbal too, and also triple tap so you can rotate the camera 180 degrees for a selfie mode. Another feature is the manual tilt adjustment. If you hold the gimbal for around 2 seconds, the camera tilt axis angle will be fixed at that specific angle. This can be useful if you want a specific shot. So if you see right here, the angle does not move. And here guys is my reason for why I switched to this gimbal rather than the RS3 Mini. But wait, let's connect to the app first. All you need to do is make sure your app is open right before you turn on your gimbal. The app will allow it to connect to the Bluetooth as soon as it turns on. Now for this sick feature to work, you gotta make sure that gesture control is on. And now after that, let me rotate the camera 180 degrees and turn on that AI tracking feature. So right over here is the AI tracker, and it also has a built-in fill light. And now with this, you won't even need a cameraman. All you need is this gimbal. So here's a little sneak peek of next week's video. Right now you can see the gimbal is following me as I'm walking around my room. It might look like there's somebody with me, but it's all just AI. Now I'll show you guys how to activate the AI tracking. All you gotta do is stick up the gesture. So in order to turn it on, you see that red light right now? That means it's off. Once it turns green, it's on. So all you gotta do is stick your hand out and make this gesture. It turns green, and now wherever you go, it'll follow you. And it's pretty accurate. But try not to go too fast or else it'll lose you. But now if you want to stop it, all you gotta do is stick your hand out and it should turn back to red. There you go. It's easy as that. Next, let me show you guys how to activate the fill light. Hold this button down right here on the side, and that should turn it on. And hold it back down to turn it off too. So in order to change the settings here, just triple tap this. And now you can switch between RGB mode and CCT mode. And all you gotta do is rotate this wheel so you can change the intensity and the temperature range. And for the RGB, whoops, I double clicked it. You're supposed to triple tap. Triple tap again to switch back to RGB. And over here you could switch through the hues. You could go all the way up. You keep going. It'll just keep on cycling. And then if you click it once more, you can hit down to the intensity. This AI sensor here is just such a unique part of this whole gimbal. And now let's quickly go over the rest of the buttons. Here we got the zoom lever, and for the shutter button, you gotta press it once to start or stop recording, and then half press to autofocus. You can also press it twice to switch between photo and video modes, and press it 3 times to switch between the front and rear cameras. This is only available in the Hohem Joy app. Also, before you go buying this, make sure that your camera is listed on the supported devices. And then you got these 2 buttons, A and B, which can be used for time-lapse shooting. You can set the gimbal to go from position A to position B. Oh, and I forgot to mention this before, but you can use the wheel to control the focus and the roll rotation. Oh, and I should reiterate this, but please check the supported devices list so that you know the camera will work with the gimbal. Some of these functions won't work, so please make sure. Now let me quickly show you guys how to add on the action camera mount. So here I have a GoPro, and if you've had one, you pretty much know how this works. Once you got on the action camera, screw it onto the mount and then attach it to the gimbal. Just like what we did before, and then follow the same steps. Now let's set this up with a full frame camera. So all the steps will be the same except for when you attach the L bracket. It's just a small little step. So let's grab the L bracket and attach it. So we want this part to align exactly to the side of the camera. Now in order to do that, we gotta make slight few adjustments. On the L bracket, you'll find this little key. It'll be magnetically attached to it. And now we gotta loosen these screws on the bottom and adjust it. And now after everything's in place, give it a few jiggles and make sure everything is nice and tight. And then slide the key back on the magnet. And now all that there's left to do is connect it through a control cable. On the gimbal, you'll see 2 ports. Use the bottom port so that you can control the camera. We'll be using it as a remote, so just hit remote shoot. And now we can finally have fun with the sick new gimbal. It may not be able to hold as much as the RS3 Mini. It's still a great choice for a mini gimbal. I really just can't get over how cool the AI sensor makes this thing. But that about wraps it all up. I hope you guys found this video helpful, and thanks again for watching all the way to the end. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that noti bell to know when I upload, and click on one of these